Welcome to the Functional Medicine Radio Show with your host, Dr. Carri Drzyzga, known internationally as the Functional Medicine Doc. Dr. Carri is committed to helping patients find the root cause of their health problems and fixing the cause with natural treatments so they can feel normal again. Dr. Carri is the founder of Functional Medicine Ontario and is the author of the hit book, Reclaim Your Energy and Feel Normal Again. Please welcome your host, Dr. Carri Drzyzga.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Functional Medicine Radio Show, the only internet radio show dedicated to giving you real solutions to improve your health. Not only are they real solutions, but they're natural solutions as well. Because as you know, the one and only true wealth you have is your health. I'm your host, Dr. Carri Drzyzga, the Functional Medicine Doc, and I'm committed to helping you find the root cause of your health problem, fix the cause with natural treatments, so you can feel normal again and live your life to the fullest. Just a quick bit of housekeeping before I introduce today's special guest. I'm happy to announce that I'm now working on my third book. The title is Reclaim Your Digestive Health and Feel Normal Again, Fixing the Root Cause of Your GI Distress with Natural Treatments. This book should be ready mid-2016, so keep an eye out for it. That's it for our housekeeping, so let's get started. So I'm so very excited about this week's show because my special guest is Dr. Deanna Minich. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Dr. Deanna is a functional nutritionist with a unique approach to clinical medicine that combines physiology and psychology. Now, she has training in functional medicine, and for the past decade, she's worked with the father of functional medicine, Dr. Jeffrey Bland. I'm kind of jealous of that, as her mentor, and has served on the Institute of Functional Medicine's Nutrition Advisory Board and is part of the teaching committee on their Detox Module. Now, today we're going to be talking about her newest book, which is called Whole Detox, a 21-day personalized program to break through barriers in every area of your life. Dr. Deanna, thank you so much for being my special guest today on this episode of the Functional Medicine Radio Show.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Carri. It's wonderful to be here, and it sounds exciting. You've got a book, I've got a book, and we're getting this information out there.
Yeah, I really feel like functional medicine in general is like really on the verge of breaking through like healthcare as we know it, like really getting big. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to interview you today about your newest book, because you're getting such rave reviews about it. So when many people think of a detox program, one of the things they usually think about is like an elimination diet or eating really clean, or maybe they're thinking of like the master cleanse where they're doing water with lemon and maple syrup, or they go to the health food store and they get a 2-week supply of like some herbs and elixirs, but your detox is totally different.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because you're right. A decade ago, I would have told you, if you were to ask me what is detox, I would have told you it's an elimination diet. You get rid of things in your food and your diet and you start feeling better. And you do this over 21 days, and then you add those foods back in, and then you see how you feel. So there is some truth to that. Within functional medicine circles, that is more or less how we approach detoxification. It's part of it. I don't see it as the whole picture, however, which is why I came out with this book, Whole Detox. What I found in working with people over all these years is that when I would change their food, when they would actually do a detox with me and I would put them on an elimination diet, they started having changes in their lives. So this is just 3 weeks of their life, but I noticed that especially within that first 7 to 10 days, they start changing their eating, they start changing how they're feeling, they start getting more energy, and then all of a sudden, week 2 or week 3, they start thinking about their jobs, their relationships. Maybe it's about where they live. Maybe they've always wanted to live in a warmer climate. Maybe they needed to step out and realize their performing career as a musician that they had been thinking about. So what I had seen just through my own experience working with patients over more than a decade is really that detox is more than just changing your eating. When we change our eating, we change our living. When we change our living, we change our lives. So Whole Detox was written really in the spirit of showing everybody, how do you do this in a holistic way? How do you detox everything? And it's not even like we have to get rid of things. In the book, I talk about not just avoiding, but what do we need to bring in to nourish ourselves? And I think that's one of the very important pieces of detox programs out there that's missing.
Yeah, in fact, I had read that on your website that one of the reasons why most detoxes fail or they just don't last is that we're so focused on taking stuff out instead of what to put in and nourish.
Yeah, yeah. And we get so fixated on that. And that becomes kind of a downer, right? People get all really worked up about doing a detox. And some people just don't even want to do it because they feel like, oh, I'm going to have to give up this and that. And, it feels like it's deprivation. It's like another diet. And that's really against my philosophy. What I'd rather do is do more of a yin-yang approach where we focus on one side, which is, of course, the removal and looking at the toxicities in our lives, because we can't ignore that. There are things out there where we can start shortcutting and streamlining and getting those things removed. On the other side of the coin, though, you have to think about, what am I going to put in place of those things once I've removed them? So if I take out sugar, if I take out gluten, what am I putting into its place? Am I just putting in some gluten-free item that's really high in simple carbohydrates, and just because it's gluten-free, it's healthy? So really what I'm trying to help people to do within this 21-day personalized program is figure out the areas of their lives where they need some change. And within the book, there is a questionnaire. And I'm all about personalization, because one of the things we know in functional medicine is that it can't just be one type of an approach for every single person. We can start there because there are some general principles about good eating and, of course, get our foundation straight. But from there, everybody is so different. And maybe somebody has done 20 detoxes before. Maybe some other person has never done a detox. So the approach to food will be very different in both of those individuals. So in the book, there is a 7-part questionnaire that people take. And then based on your scores from those 7 different systems, you're guided through the book on how you can create balance.
And Dr. Deanna, can you explain what the 7 is all about? Why 7?
Yes. One of the things that I noticed going through functional medicine and really just even my emphasis on nutrition is all this talk about body, mind, and spirit. We started hearing more about that, I would say, in the 1990s. We started hearing that trio, body, mind, spirit, mind, body, spirit. It was kind of this, what is that all about? It means a lot of different things to different people. So throughout my training and just even my own personal exploration, I started looking deeper into what does it mean to connect our mind with our body, or even what about the effect of emotions on our health, or relationships, or whether or not we feel lonely versus having a community. So me personally exploring this and then looking into the research, I found that essentially there were 7 different parts of who we are. So I think it's more than just the 3 of mind, body, spirit. I think we have these 7 big areas into which we bucket our lives. And these 7 areas are also recognized in traditional medicine systems.
So can you gloss over what those 7 areas are?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great.
I think it's easy for people. I associate everything with color because, many times it's hard to remember words, concepts, especially when you have 7. It's now not even 3, but now we have to remember 7 things. So what I do is I connect each of them to the colors. So it's the rainbow. So the color red, orange, yellow, green, turquoise, indigo, and white. So just think of the rainbow as we move through these. So I give each of the colors a name, one word. So the red is what I call the root. Okay, so the root is all about our connection to being rooted, to being physical, to having family around us. What is our DNA expression, our ancestry? What is the sense of, even down to red foods? So it's really looking at the physical parts of us. The orange color is connected to what I call the flow. And the flow is all about emotions. and not just emotions, but our sense of creativity. How do we express ourselves? How do we make ourselves known in the world? And of course, orange-colored foods. And there's even a correlation between some orange-colored foods and our ability to be creative. In other words, levels of things like progesterone or estrogen in our bodies. So it's really neat to see these connections. Yellow is connected to what I call the fire. And the fire is all about how we transform. So I connect it to the digestive system. We talk about yellow foods, carbohydrates, whole grains, why people are gravitating to too many of those things, sugars, sweeteners, how do we get energy? The green color is about the heart. I call it the love. So here in the book, I talk about how, especially many women, many women are really not getting the degree of self-care and self-nurturing that they need. They're always putting things out there for other people. They're putting themselves out. They're putting their time out there. And so I talk about getting love and healing for yourself. And I also talk about green leafy vegetables and how that connects to our circulatory system. Aquamarine, I connect into the throat area. So it's almost like, speaking our truth. How do we take things in? How do we merge together everything on the outside with things on the inside? So being that this is connected to the area around the throat, I talk about mindful eating. So the mouth area. So it's not just what we eat, but how we eat, and how can we detox fast eating and, quick eating practices, right? And just kind of running through our daily lives. The indigo color, with this kind of blue-purple color, is connected to the brain, and I call it insight. And so the reason why it's connected to blue-purple is because I often think of it as a nighttime sky. This part of us connects to sleep. It connects to how we think. And even the blue-purple colors that we find in foods that are important for learning and memory. So a lot of people even do a detox because they're very concerned about their mental sharpness. They want to retain that sense of acuity. So we definitely delve into that. And then finally, white, the color white, which I correlate with spirit. I call it spirit, but it doesn't have a religious connotation. Spirit to me just means our life force, our ability to be vital and energized and really, some of these people, right? These are like the 60 or the 70-year-olds who are really more like 30 or 40-year-olds. They've got that joie de vivre. They've got that sense of being positive, that sense of purpose and passion, and they really light up everybody that's around them. And so when we don't have that, we might feel depressed, down, isolated, and feel like our light has gone out. So those 7 colors correlate to those 7 different areas of us.
So for the listeners out there, now you have a really good idea of why Dr. Deanna's book, Whole Detox, is so different, that it really is a whole body approach, head to toe, body, mind, and spirit approach to detox, which is just not found out there. So Dr. Deanna, can you give us an idea, kind of like walk our listeners through kind of like what the 21-day program would kind of be like?
Yeah. Well, in the book, it's all outlined. So you can buy the book and just do the program on your own. We also have online programs where you can do it. So when you get the book in your hands, there are some chapters that describe each of those different colors and those systems within you. So you get to read a whole chapter about the red and the root and red colored foods and how does this connect to my sense of community? What does this mean? My immune system. You'll see how all the connections come into play. And then as you move your way through the book, you'll get to the questionnaire. And you'll actually get to take the questionnaire and figure out where you're at. Now, the good thing about this questionnaire is that you can always do it. So even when you're done with the detox in a couple of months, and you want to go back, you do the questionnaire again, and then you find out, where am I on my spectrum? So maybe the first time around you were low in orange, in the flow, in emotions, but maybe the next time around you're low in love or in green or in the heart. Right? So it's a great gauge. You can always use it. Then what you're provided is 21 days. Every page has one of the days where you've got the food prescription, you've got an emotional prescription, thought you actually get the 7 different things that you can do every day of the 21-day detox. Now, some people are like, oh my goodness, I can't do all 7. I don't have time for all those 7 things. You're asking me about a meditation, a visualization, about affirmations, about physical activity. And what we focus on within Whole Detox is if you can't do it all, and it's been made so that it will cost you no more than 30 minutes of your day to do all these things, outside of the eating, of course. But if you can't spend that 30 minutes, if you can just take a piece or a part of it, something that you feel really drawn to, and go there, especially because we know that whatever you choose is going to ripple through your system and influence the body, mind, and spirit, all these 7 layers that I've just been talking about. So yeah, it's all in there, all the recipes, and they're all colorful and color coded. I think that's many people, when they go through the program, they love the fact that everything is so bright. And I remember one woman who had gone through the Whole Detox program, and she says, Deanna, I don't know what it is. I've done detox programs before. Why is this different? Do you think it could be the colors? And I just kind of laughed because it's interesting. She's like, my migraines are gone. 20 years of migraines. I've done detoxes. I've done elimination diets. Can the color be doing something here? So I think, what you're going to find in the book is that it's very colorful. We have a colorful insert that will take you through all of the different colors, what they stand for, what they represent. And then you start thinking of yourself, not just in numbers or in lab values, but you start thinking of yourself as a spectrum.
Now, Dr. Deanna, can you talk about a patient that you worked with who went through this 21-day program for themselves, the problems that they were struggling with before, and then the transformation that happened with their health and with their life?
Oh gosh, yeah. So many people. The gist of it is that, people usually come in and they have all different reasons. And I remember one woman specifically coming in. Her issue, for most people, it is this issue where, they feel like they weigh too much and they're not energized. And then 7 days within the program, 7 to 10 days, her sense of taste starts to change. She starts to have more energy. Now she's putting on her gym shoes. She's going for walks every day. It's almost like the detox gave her her life back, so then she could start to enjoy the things around her. And one of the things that I like to do too is to encourage creative expression. And what I notice is that a lot of people, when they do the detox, they start to open up to just creative ways to live. So just seeing how people start even taking up painting, taking up drawing, they start writing poems, believe it or not, like poems and prose, and just taking pictures of their artwork, really getting into their meals. So, we've definitely have had people lose weight on the program. And in fact, I've collected a lot of data, and on the 21-day program, essentially, we've seen people lose as much as 20 pounds, which, that's kind of like the top end. That's not really our goal, is to have people lose weight. It's really to help people to feel energized to live and to live their fullest. And that's really what we see is that more people, more often than not, are really connected to their sense of life force. So, I've seen it time and time again, where people are rethinking their lives, thinking about ending relationships. I had one woman who wanted to transition from her work as a teacher into being more of a health coach because she became so inspired and really got juiced by the material. So, and it's even down to the level of what we dress in every day, the colors that we wear. And I can remember a handful of women that were going through the program, and a lot of them like black, gray, and brown clothes, or at least they never thought about it.
Right.
And one of the things I open people up to is, what colors are you wearing even? It's not just the colors you're eating, the colors in your environment, but what color are you? And so I remember one woman who she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe all this black that I have. And she started to go out and she bought different colors. I had another woman who only had one orange piece of clothing in her closet. So she started to expand beyond that and really, again, feel really juiced and energized by the presence of color in their lives, which is really just bringing out the colors in themselves.
Dr. Deanna, don't you feel, I know I feel so fortunate to be working with these patients and to have even just the tiniest amount of impact on their health and on their lives and just see them. It's like that butterfly effect. Isn't it
Yeah,
just so awesome to be in functional medicine?
it is. Absolutely, butterfly effect, ripple through effect, and it starts to spread because when one person is changed, their smaller group around them, their social network is changed, and then that network goes out to change other people around them. So even though we're only working with one person, it's really what is in one is in the whole. What is in the whole is in one. This is an age-old proverb from traditional medicine. And I really do see that just working on ourselves is the best way to heal the planet. So we just start there, and we start by bringing in more color, more vitality, more energy, and seeing ourselves as truly a multifaceted being. We are not just a body. We are so much more than that. We're our emotions. We are our thoughts. We are, back to creativity, which I see so much of in people, but not having time or feeling the confidence to express who they really are.
Now, Dr. Deanna, as we're starting to wrap up our interview here, is there anything else about your whole detox program that you think is important for our listeners to hear?
Well, if they feel like oh my gosh, she's talking about a lot of things here. I don't know if I can wrap my head around, doing all this. What I would say is join our community experience. Twice a year, we do an online whole detox program, and that is absolutely powerful. It's absolutely powerful to be in the presence online with a bunch of hundreds, thousands of people doing this. I think you learn so much about yourself by observing other people's process. So if you're feeling a little bit intimidated by this approach to detox, join us. Join it. We're starting our program in March, in the middle half of March. And so if you just check out our website, whole-detox.com, you will find all the details. And I'd love to have you as part of that. And you too, Dr. Carri.
I'll be there, Deanna.
I hope so.
I'm going to need a buddy.
Oh, not a problem.
And that's the nice part about an online community is you can have lots of buddies to work with to help with motivating.
Yeah, and you get to meet a lot of different people, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one struggling with this. Just one last story if I can.
Absolutely. Please share.
Okay, so we did one of our programs this year in September, October, and one woman, it was finally and I take people through every 3 days, we've got a new color. So we start in the red, then we move to the orange, then we move to the yellow. When we got to the green, I always notice that when we get to the part where we're focused on the heart and our sense of love, a lot of people really start to open up. And there was one woman who gave us a very touching story about her life and all the traumas that she had been through, a lot of the abuse. It was very long, and she just really put it out there, and she says, I don't know why I'm doing this, but here it is, and this is just who I am, and I just needed to tell all of you this. Well, that was almost like it set everybody in motion. Then everybody else was writing their life story, and then everybody was really connecting on, yeah, we all have these things in common. We all have traumas. We all have things that we think are toxic. And in supporting each other, we start to nourish our inner selves, and we start to heal that part of ourselves. So it's just kind of nice to see how the group, just takes one small catalyst within the group, and all of a sudden, tick, 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 all these stories, all these people start really saying, oh my gosh, that's me, I've had that too. So there's something really powerful about a group. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, there really is something quite healing about realizing that you're not the only one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And myself included, we're always a work in progress. There's always something for us to work on. So,
absolutely. I tell my patients that all the time. Hey, I'm not perfect. I'm just trying my best. And sometimes,
is, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Deanna, how can our listeners find out more about you? Again, tell us your website, if you have a Facebook page, and where can they find your new book?
So the mother website, I'll give you the mother website because on that site you'll find the whole detox information and everything else. The big website is drdeannaminich.com. So Deanna, Deanna, Minich, Minich.com. And definitely have a Facebook page. I actually have Facebook pages. I have a Deanna Minich page that you can find me on, a fan page, and then I have a Whole Detox page. And what's really nice too, Dr. Carri, is if you've got any listeners who are practitioners, I actually train practitioners in this system, in the 7 systems of full spectrum health. And I teach people how to do this work and how to bring it into their practices. So we do have a certification program, and you can find out more about that as well on drdeannaminich.com.
And your book, where can they find your book?
Well, the book is on, you can find it everywhere. It's in bookstores. It's on Amazon. You can find it through our website. If you just go to whole-detox.com, you'll find it there. It's all over the website, so you can definitely find it there.
Fantastic. Dr. Deanna, thank you so much for being my special guest today. This has been an awesome interview.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been a delight.
All right, that wraps up this very special episode of the Functional Medicine Radio Show with Dr. Deanna Minich. And I want to thank you, our listeners, for tuning in today. And I'd like to invite you back next week for another episode of the Functional Medicine Radio Show. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Carri Drzyzga, the Functional Medicine Doc. Have a great week, everyone.
You've been listening to the Functional Medicine Radio Show with your host, Dr. Carri Drzyzga, known internationally as the Functional Medicine Doc. Dr. Carri is committed to helping patients find the root cause of their health problems and fixing the cause with natural treatments so they can feel normal again. Dr. Carri is the founder of Functional Medicine Ontario and is the author of the hit book, Reclaim Your Energy and Feel Normal Again. Please tell your friends about the Functional Medicine Radio Show, and we'll see you next week with more from Dr. Carri.